Hello and welcome. Today we're diving into a story that is just timeless. It gets right to the heart of something we all wrestle with. A story about ambition, about humility, and, well, about what it really means to be great. So let's just jump right into this really jarring moment at the center of our story. Think about it. On one hand, Jesus is trying to prepare his closest friends for his own death, the ultimate sacrifice. And on the other hand, they're busy arguing about who's going to be number one in the new administration. It's such a huge disconnect, and it totally sets the stage for one of the most powerful lessons he would ever teach. Okay, so our story starts on a journey through Galilee. Jesus has just dropped a bombshell on his disciples. He's going to be betrayed and killed. But instead of them wrestling with this awful news, a whole different kind of shadow falls over the group, and that's the shadow of good old-fashioned human ambition. You can almost picture it, right? They probably thought they were being subtle, whispering among themselves as they walked a little ways behind Jesus. But of course, he knew exactly what was on their minds. And instead of calling them out right then and there, he just waited. He waited for the right time, a quiet moment, when their hearts might be a little more open to what he had to say. But before Jesus gets to the heart of their argument, something else happens. An unexpected run-in in the town of Capernaum actually serves as this perfect little warm-up act for the big lesson on humility that's about to come. Now, what's really fascinating here is the context. This wasn't your everyday Roman tax. This was a religious tax, a contribution for the temple that every Jewish person was expected to pay. And these collectors, who were basically in league with Jesus' enemies, they saw a perfect chance to lay a trap. And Peter, wanting to stand up for Jesus, he immediately says, yeah, of course he pays, but he has no idea he's just walked right into it. See, if Jesus refuses to pay, they'll call him a traitor to the temple. But if he does pay, it's like he's admitting he's just a regular guy, not the Son of God, who would technically be exempt. It was a classic no-win situation. So Jesus, who already knows all of this, meets Peter before he even has a chance to explain. First, he makes a point. Hey, a king's kids don't pay taxes in their own father's kingdom, right? As the Son of God, he wasn't obligated to pay for his father's house, the temple. But, and this is key, to avoid causing a totally unnecessary fight, he performs this quiet little miracle, providing the exact amount of money needed from the mouth of a fish. So here's the takeaway. Jesus pays the tribute, not because he has to, but to avoid giving his enemies an excuse to twist his words and his mission. It's his incredible lesson in wisdom and in, choosing your battles. Sometimes the strongest move isn't to stand on your rights, but to avoid a fight that would just distract from what really matters. So now we get to the moment of truth. The tribute money's been paid, Peter's back, and Jesus brings their hidden argument right out into the light. He asks them point blank, "So, what were you guys arguing about on the road?" And you could just imagine the silence. Complete, heavy silence. They're ashamed, they're busted, and nobody wants to answer. But finally, one of them gets up the nerve to ask the question that was on all of their minds. And just like that, their ambition, this big misunderstanding they have about his kingdom, it's all laid bare. And this contrast just nails the root of the problem, doesn't it? Their squabble about who gets the highest place, it wasn't just a petty argument. It actually came from the very same spirit of self-promotion that Christ came to defeat. You've got one kingdom built on power and rivalry, and another built on humility and love. They are worlds apart. Now, Jesus' response, it isn't a lecture. It's not a stern talking to. Instead, he gives them an answer they can see and touch and feel, a living, breathing symbol of what true greatness looks like. Seriously, just picture this scene. You have these grown men, fishermen and tax collectors, tough guys, all arguing about power and status. And Jesus' answer is to bring a small, trusting child right into the middle of them. The contrast is just, wow, it's stunning. This one simple, gentle action completely changes the entire conversation. And this is a total bombshell. He's not saying, hey guys, be a little more humble. No, he's telling them that their entire mindset, their whole spiritual compass, is pointing in the wrong direction. It has to be completely turned around. Before they can even think about being great in his kingdom, they have to become like this child just to get in the door. So what does it even mean to be like a child? Well, Jesus points to these three things. Simplicity, a life that isn't all about selfish ambition. Self-forgetfulness, where you're not constantly worried about your own status. And a confiding love, a heart that just trusts completely. These are the things that heaven values. and they are the absolute polar opposite of the pride and jealousy the disciples were caught up in. Okay, so if greatness isn't about having power or a fancy title, then what is it? Now, Jesus starts to unpack what this new definition looks like in real life. It's not just a nice idea, it's a way of living. Jesus uses this really cool metaphor of salt. To have salt in yourselves basically means to have his character, his goodness inside of you. And when you have that, you just naturally become a positive force in the world. A person filled with that spirit, they don't have room for rivalry or a desire to be the top. Their influence just flows from who they are, not from any position they hold. And then the lesson gets really serious. Because if greatness is about helping people, then the opposite, causing someone else to stumble or fall away, is a massive offense. Jesus uses the strongest language possible. He says it's better to cut off your own hand than to have some habit or practice in your life that could lead another person astray, because every single person is infinitely valuable. He even gives them a practical guide for what to do when someone messes up. And look at the focus here. It's never about public humiliation or condemnation. The entire process is designed to restore the person. The goal is always to win that person back, to save a soul, to heal the relationship with gentleness and with love. In this right here, this is the bottom line. This quote sums up the whole lesson. Real greatness, real strength isn't for us. It's a resource we're supposed to use for other people. It's about carrying the burdens of those who are struggling, not climbing over them to make ourselves feel good. And that's the question we're left with. I mean, really think about it. What if our families, our jobs, our entire society operated on this principle? What if we measured success not by what we have, but by how much we've helped lift others up? It's a huge thought, and it turns this ancient story into a really modern and a really personal challenge for every single one of us.